Are you weighed down with problems, money issues, family struggles, health battles, fears that keep you awake at night, or sorrow that causes you to cry yourself to bed? Beloved, we live in a world filled with burdens, financial pressures, family struggles, health challenges, disappointments, fears, broken relationships, and unanswered questions. Many times we try to carry these troubles on our own shoulders, forgetting that we serve a God who invites us to lay them down at His feet. The truth is, you were never meant to carry those burdens alone. God says in 1 Peter 5:7, "Cast all your cares on me, because I care for you." That's not just an advice, it's a command and an invitation. Today, I want to show you how to surrender your troubles to Him and find the peace your soul has been searching for. Before we dive in, like and subscribe to the Living Sermon so you don't miss powerful messages that will strengthen your faith and draw you closer to God. 1. You must understand that God knows your troubles before you even tell Him. One of the greatest comforts we have as believers is knowing that God is not distant or unaware of what we are going through. Before a single word leaves your lips, God already knows the weight on your heart. Matthew 6:8 says, "For your Father knows the things you have need of before you ask Him." This means that nothing about your situation takes God by surprise. He knows the bills you cannot pay, the pain you cannot explain, the tears you cry in secret, and the questions you're too afraid to voice. God sees beyond appearances. People around you might see your smile, but God sees the storm inside your soul. He knows when you feel broken, lonely, or abandoned, even when you cannot express it in words. Hannah prayed so deeply from her heart that her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. Yet God heard her unspoken cry and answered her with the gift of a son. Even your silent prayers and unspoken troubles are clear to God. It means you don't have to perform for God. He already knows the real you. It means you can pray with confidence, not trying to convince Him, but trusting Him. It means that when words fail, His Spirit intercedes for you. You may feel like no one understands your struggle, but God knows every detail of your life. He knows the beginning, the middle, and the end of your story. Instead of holding your troubles inside, you can rest in this truth. The one who already knows is the one who deeply cares. 2. You were not built to carry the load alone. From the very beginning of creation, God never designed man to live in isolation or to bear life's struggles without help. In Genesis 2:18, God said, "It is not good for man to be alone." That truth goes beyond marriage. It shows us that God never intended for us to face life by ourselves. When you try to carry all your burdens, financial stress, sickness, heartbreak, fear, on your own, it crushes you. That's why people break down under anxiety, depression, and sleepless nights. You were not built to handle the weight of life's troubles without God's help. Psalm 55:22 declares, "Cast your burden on the Lord, and He will sustain you. He will never permit the righteous to be moved." The word cast doesn't mean gently hand it over. It means to throw it down forcefully. God wants you to take the burden you're carrying and release it entirely onto Him. When we insist on carrying our troubles by ourselves, we end up breaking under the weight. That's why anxiety, fear, depression, and discouragement increase the longer we cling to our problems. But when we surrender them to God, He carries them for us. Even Jesus, during His ministry on earth, constantly went to the Father in prayer. If the Son of God needed the Father's strength, how much more do we? So whenever life feels overwhelming, remember this truth. You were not built to carry the load alone. You were built to lean on God, to depend on Him, and to walk with Him daily. 3. Surrender requires trust. Surrendering your troubles is not just about praying once. It is about trusting God with the outcome, even when it doesn't make sense. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your paths." This means we don't try to figure everything out with our limited wisdom. Trust is placing our confidence in the one who knows the end from the beginning. Trust requires letting go of control. Many times we pray but still hold on to worry, as if God needs our help to solve the problem. True surrender means saying, "Lord, even if I don't understand, I trust that You do." Trust is tested in delays and silence. When answers don't come immediately, trust keeps us steady. When God seems silent, trust reminds us that He is still working behind the scenes. In the midst of unimaginable loss, Job declared, "Though He slay me, yet will I trust Him." His surrender was not based on comfort, but on conviction, and in the end, God restored him with double blessing. This is a proof that surrender rooted in trust brings restoration and greater glory. 4. When you surrender, He gives you peace. One of the greatest gifts that comes with surrender is peace. Not the fragile kind the world gives, but the deep, unshakable peace that only God can provide. Philippians 4:6-7 says, "Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus." Notice that God does not say all your troubles will vanish instantly. Instead, He promises that His peace will guard your heart and mind. That peace becomes a shield against worry, fear, and confusion. Peace comes from letting go. Worry is like holding on tightly to something you cannot control. The more you hold it, the heavier it feels. But when you surrender it into God's hands, you experience the freedom that comes from knowing the outcome is no longer your responsibility. Isaiah 26:3 declares, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you." Now, perfect peace is the result of perfect trust. The moment you release control, God releases peace. Take, for example, the disciples were in a boat when a violent storm arose. They were panicking, but Jesus was asleep, completely at peace. When they finally cried out to Him, He stood up and rebuked the wind. "Peace, be still," and immediately the storm calmed. Peace doesn't come from calmer circumstances. It comes from the presence of Christ in the middle of the storm. When you surrender the storm to Him, He may calm the sea, or He may calm your heart, but either way, He gives peace. Peace is not found in the absence of trouble, but in the presence of God, and the doorway to that peace is surrender. 5. The cross is the ultimate example of surrender. The greatest picture of surrender is found at the cross of Jesus Christ. On the night before His crucifixion, in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus faced unimaginable anguish. He prayed in Luke 22:42, "Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me, yet not my will, but yours be done." Here, Jesus was honest with His pain. He did not hide His distress from the Father. He knew the suffering ahead: betrayal, rejection, humiliation, and the weight of the world's sin. The truth is, spiritually, emotionally, and eternally, no human has ever carried the weight Jesus carried at the cross. Yet in that moment, He chose surrender. He released His will into the Father's hands. And on the cross, His final words in Luke 23:46 were, "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." That was ultimate surrender. He let go of control, trusting that the Father's plan, even through suffering and death, would bring the greatest victory, our salvation. Take note. 1. Surrender does not mean weakness. It means trusting God's wisdom above our own. Jesus could have called down angels, but He surrendered to God's will. 2. Surrender often requires sacrifice. Sometimes you must give up comfort, pride, or control to walk in God's plan. 3. Surrender brings transformation. Through the cross, death turned into resurrection, defeat became victory, and sorrow turned into salvation. Just like Jesus, we will face moments when troubles seem unbearable. Our prayer should echo His, "Not my will, but yours be done." When you surrender your troubles at the cross, your fear is exchanged for God's peace. Your weakness is exchanged for His strength. Your defeat is turned into testimony. If God spoke to you through this message, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to The Living Sermon so together we can spread God's message of hope. God bless you.